This is an uneventful week we've been having.
Yes.
Nothing has happened at all.
I can't think of anything.
Me either.
It's been quite a boring week in a way, hasn't it?
Dull week. Nothing's happened. Apart from, like, you know, a bit of rough and tumble. I shouldn't call it a rough and tumble. Why'd I do that?
What can we call it?
An incident that led to deaths. Yeah?
Your hay fever.
Yeah. Hay fever kills at least one Tarmin's emotions every year. It's true. It's a fact. I can corroborate that.
What
I'm corroborating my own fact.
That makes it a definite fact, then.
Well, I went to the Donald Trump School of Learning. I went to one of his universities, so that's how I learnt.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind being a Trump steak or something like that.
A what?
You remember one of his Trump steaks he tried selling?
No.
Tried selling steaks.
He tries to sell everything, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he ends up being bankrupt a lot.
Yeah.
That's the man you pick to be in charge of your country and its finances.
What, me?
No, not you. I'm just talking out loud. Thinking out loud.
Well, anyway, let's get back to your hay fever.
Yeah, it's very bad. And my throat hurts now too. And my nose, I can't feel it anymore.
How do you know it's still there?
Because my eyes hurt and they water sometimes.
Oh.
I know.
I don't know how you've survived, to be honest. When did it start?
It started when I was a child. It was linked to my asthma a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. At least the asthma sort of subsided over the years, but hay fever, no. Unless, like, I have, like, a really bad flu, that's when the asthma comes with a vengeance and I, like, can't breathe at all.
Yeah.
I genuinely almost die. I don't think you understand how close to death I get every year.
I'm not totally sure I care, but,
Bastard, cheap bastard.
The more I hear about your childhood, the more I realise how fucked up it was.
Wait, what? I'm just talking hay fever and asthma, man. My parents didn't do a Josef Fritzl on me, for crying out loud. Like, they're not that bad.
No, but that's what you've got planned for your... I haven't forgotten that.
I'm not fucking having kids.
Yeah, but you said you're going to have one just to do the whole Josef Fritzl thing.
I didn't say it was about the Josef Fritzl thing. I said lock it in a basement and teach it random shit and then set it out into the world at 18 years old and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it'll be the longest, but the funniest joke ever.
It's not that dissimilar to Josef Fritzl.
Well, no, he didn't let them out and he wasn't teaching them fucked up shit, was he? He was doing fucked up shit. He was doing fucked up shit,
let
not
one of them
teaching
to the hospital. So you've got to think of all the kind things he did.
To be fair, I don't understand why he let them go to the hospital in the first place. Because didn't he let a couple of those babies die? Like, put them in the furnace?
Yeah.
So why did he end up letting them go to the hospital when one of them was sick?
Sometimes they have, like, they finally do have some empathy after a while. She might have just convinced him.
I'm sorry, a man that locked his daughter in a basement and raped her, fathering... I don't know how many kids it was quite a lot of kids. He doesn't have any feelings whatsoever. He's just a fucked up man.
I don't know. I think you do have some feelings at some point.
Nah.
Didn't have empathy for a lot of the time, but
yeah.
May have just, had a sudden pang of empathy.
Whatever.
Let him go.
You know what, Matt? Because you're a white man, I think you should apologise to the world for Josef Fritzl.
Yeah.
Because I'm big on stereotypes, and obviously it's your fault because you're letting him go out and do that stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
So terrible of me.
Yeah.
I can't believe I let him do all that stuff.
I'm glad one of you is admitting it.
Even though he was born
in Austria.
Long before I was.
It doesn't
matter. He did
matter.
most of that stuff before I was.
That's never mattered before, Matt, so why is it going to matter now?
True.
Because there was a guy, he was of a brown complexion similar to mine.
Mm.
He's basically a big shit.
Really?
He did very bad things this week, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people got hurt because of it.
Mm.
3 people were killed. I don't include him in like the 4 because people have been saying 4 people have been killed and it includes him. He's the one that did it. Don't give a fuck. 3 people have been killed. And because he's brown, I think, well, people think that all brown people or people of the same religion, perhaps. I don't know if this is weird to you. It should take responsibility.
Yeah, well, it's only racists that think that.
True.
So
far right. And Donald Trump. Oh, he is the far right. That was our way of saying, yeah, no, he's a shit and, feelings and all that go out to people and all that. I don't do sentiment very well, do I?
No.
I came about talking about that through Josef Fritzl.
That's quite a connection.
I went through it for the Stereotypes. It's like a few years ago, no, when the France thing happened in France, wasn't it Rupert Murdoch that said all Muslims have to come out and take responsibility and stop this from happening?
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the responses were even funnier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if all Muslims wanted people dead, you'd all be dead.
Yeah.
That's a simple fact.
Yeah. As Christians, like, you don't really monitor what other Christians do. So it's a bit harsh to expect Muslims to monitor what other Muslims are doing.
Yeah, I find it funny because they're like, oh, it's a small community. It's like, it's actually a fucking big community and we don't all know each other. That's racist of you for thinking that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's just that the Muslims' time, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
To get bashed by everyone.
It was the Irish not so long ago.
Yeah, Irish, Jewish. Hey, Christians have done a lot of fucked up shit over the years as well. Let's not forget about that. So basically, it's not about religion. It's just people in general are fucked up.
Yeah.
Some people are more fucked up than others.
Yeah. I mean, I hear people say, oh, these kind of things are not about religion. But I think it's quite right to say that, because clearly it is a little bit about religion.
No, it's about the person.
But it's about the interpretation of religion.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like all of the people in the religion immediately latch onto whatever this certain person is thinking. So it's stupid.
Yeah.
To say that. Like Josef Fritzl, he liked to have sex. Does it mean that every person that likes to have sex is going to go to the lengths that Josef Fritzl has gone to? And he also likes power. Basically, Josef Fritzl's Donald Trump, isn't he? Donald Trump is iffy about the way he is with his daughter.
Slightly different from locking her in a dungeon.
I know, locking her in the White House.
Having children. She's being locked in the White House and being raped.
She's allowed to do whatever she wants. Did you see the picture of her and Angela Merkel?
No,
sitting side by side.
No.
Ivanka Trump doesn't have security clearance for any of this. She doesn't have any official role in the White House. She's not qualified for any of this, but they were having a meeting together. Well, there was a massive meeting. They were sat together. She's a glorified designer that puts her name onto other people's products. Yet she's privy to all those meetings.
Yeah, but that's just like meeting world leaders. It's not actually
it was like an official meeting with people there. And then I saw a picture going around saying, oh, if this is Chelsea Clinton, people would be going insane, which I agreed with. And then I looked up Chelsea Clinton. She's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
She's gone to like 5 different universities all around the world. She's got a degree in international relations, so she's already more qualified than the Trump daughter.
Yeah.
To be in those meetings. And now she actually works full-time for a charity.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty impressive. For a girl that grew up in the spotlight and could have been so fucked up.
Especially with Bill as your dad.
Yeah. Rowdy Bill. Okay, this isn't the Chelsea Clinton loving, but I now do follow her on Twitter.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. I have a little bit of a girl crush. I'm just like, oh, wow, that's amazing. That's aspirational. I'd rather be following her than Ivanka Trump, because I've seen some of her fans. They're very vicious.
Yeah.
I don't understand how she has fans, but they're very vicious.
Well, it's just because she's Trump's daughter, isn't it?
I know, but she hasn't done anything.
No. I don't even know. I don't know if she's like a designer. But...
No, I think she's one of those, like, you know, Paris Hilton type, Nicole Richie type designers. No, basically, they make a deal with a big brand or a manufacturing company. They just put their name on it. I'm pretty sure that's the kind of designer they are. And now, like, a lot of American big retail stores aren't stocking her items.
Yeah.
How the hell? We've talked about so many subjects in the past 12 minutes.
I know. We're so talented, aren't we?
We really are. I really feel like we should get paid money and we could be proper pundits about life. Let's have our own Friday night show where we actually get paid money on the TV and we just discuss the week.
I think if we were pundits about life, I think there'd be a lot of people wanting to end theirs, if I'm being honest. If we're experts in life,
that's not untrue.
That's what the world's coming to. That's how we know shit's going down.
Yeah. After almost 90 episodes, I forgot to remove my alarm. Not my alarm, my clock, because it makes a loud ticking noise when we're doing this.
Yeah.
And I've only just realised. So it's going to sound a bit weird for the first 10 minutes of this show.
I know. I can hear it, to be honest. So.
Yeah, but the mic can pick it up. You can't hear anything. We've already discovered this. You're really useless.
I hate bloody Mike. Can hear everything he can.
I know, such a twat. And he records it and blackmails you with it.
Yeah,
oh, that's me.
Me in particular.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we should do the, a
little bit of jazz.
Is it jazz? I don't think it's jazz.
It sounds like jazz.
It doesn't sound like jazz.
It does a little bit.
It's the intro music. It doesn't sound like jazz.
It should do.
Okay,
I want a bit of saxophone in there.
Yeah, well, listeners can make up their mind because we're going to play it right now.
Welcome to the Dorks Deduction Podcast, where we talk about stuff.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you think it's jazz, then tweet us or Facebook us or email us or Instagram us, but don't do Instagram because we don't have an Instagram account.
Or if you think it should be jazz, tell us it should be jazz.
If you think it should be jazz, submit some music proposals and we'll use it. We're not musicians.
Careless Whisper, George Michael. Bit of saxophone from that.
Okay, Matt.
I'm full of ideas today. I'm
Matt,
inspired.
when you figure out how to compose music, you can so deal with the intro music. Because we have been doing this almost 2 years, so maybe we could do an update. But also, can't be fucked.
True.
Almost 100 episodes, Matt. Well, almost
Really?
90. We're closer to 90 than 100, really.
Wow. Just keep on rolling on, don't we?
How the hell did we get this far?
I've got no clue. I was about to swear then, but...
I'm sorry. Wait. We approach almost 90 episodes and you decide, no, we shouldn't swear in this podcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to, higher the tone here,
I think the damage has already been done because, like I said, almost 90 episodes.
True.
The damage has long been done.
And also, considering we were talking about Josef Fritzl earlier.
Josef Fritzl and comparing him, and somehow linked it to a terrorist attack, and then compared Josef Fritzl to Donald Trump, and then talked about how I'm in love with Chelsea Clinton. Yeah, fun times.
Yeah. What
Anyway.
an inspired podcast we have here.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how... Yeah, I can't figure out a segue to this.
Have you ever seen in a field a spring? And have you seen 3 of them?
Okay, we started off the podcast talking about my hay fever. Do you really think I go to fields that often?
Good point. Damn.
But I can't handle it because my bedroom is above the garden and I needed the window open because it was a bit hot.
We could have a Brad Pitt connection here.
Okay, go for it.
2 of the people involved in this in the episode of this podcast went to the school that Brad Pitt went to.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. And it's got a rather kickapoo. Or if you do actually look at the title of the school, it does literally look like kick a poo.
Oh my God, it is Kickapoo. I forgot. I didn't realise.
So as someone
It's Native American, like Kickapoo Chiefs.
Yeah.
I didn't know Brad Pitt was Native American.
Well, you do
He
now.
kept that well hidden.
Yeah.
I mean, because, Hollywood is ruled by the white man. Somehow he became the white man.
Yeah. Plastic surgery is my bet.
Who else went to this school?
Do you think Lana thinks of him differently now? She knows he's a Native American.
Mate, she doesn't listen to this.
We've got to tell her, though.
I'm not
She's
going to
under
tell
an
her
illusion.
jack shit. If she can't take time to listen to this podcast, then she will live in ignorance.
I know, because she's got so much to learn listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else of importance in my life not my life. I mean, Brad Pitt isn't important to my life either.
No.
But no one else that I've actually heard of went to this school.
Yeah.
Some kid from High School Musical 3 went to this school.
Do you know who else went to Kickapoo?
Who else went to Kickapoo, Matt?
Suzie Streeter and
Ah.
Stacy McCall.
I know who they are, because you've actually picked one that's actually kind of famous, so I didn't even really need to research.
Didn't you? I had to.
Well,
A little bit.
I've got the dates and stuff, but I already knew about this one.
Cool. You can lead this one then.
I don't really want to lead it.
I haven't got loads, so you might.
I haven't got loads. What, you want me to do it from memory?
Go on, man.
Fuck's sake! I'll open something up. I need the dates. Okay, so Suzie Streeter, who you talked about, and Stacy McCall. On the 7th of June 1992, they had just graduated high school. Secondary school, which comes after primary school.
Fuck off.
They had just graduated high school and they'd gone to some parties, but they weren't feeling it. So they went back to Suzie Streeter's home at some point. The mother arrived, Susie's mother arrived, and her name was Sherrill Levitt.
I thought she was already there.
I thought she came after... I know she came back sometime after 11:15, because I think she was speaking to a friend at 11:15. This is why are you making me do it from memory?
I'll do the beginning bit then.
And probably the middle and end. I think she arrived after them. All I know is that it was after 11:15. And at some time between 2 a.m. and 8 a.m., all three disappeared. Some of Susie's and Stacy's friends from the night before came over. And they found the house abandoned. The door was open, but the porch light... The covering of the porch light had been broken.
Yeah.
They came in, they looked around. It was a bit odd. The girls weren't there, but their purses and clothes and jewellery and stuff was there. So they must have just thought, they've gone out, even though they'd left their purse, keys, clothes, everything. And they actually tidied up a bit. They tidied up the porch, I think.
Yeah.
So they cleaned up the porch. And eventually, Stacy's mum showed up and she thought something was iffy and... no, I left out one bit. When the friends were over, a man had phoned up and left a message containing lewd language. And that was their part of their chapter of the story. Stacy's mum came over eventually, but didn't find her there. And she thought it seemed a bit iffy and decided to call the police. But in the process of calling the police, she deleted the message. How much of that did I get right and how much did I miss out, Matt?
Well, what I had was that they'd gone to this party, but there wasn't room for them to stay because this friend had people staying over. So they went back. Who did you say came at 11:15?
I know that Sherrill had like a phone call from someone or she was talking to someone at 11:15.
Well, I had it that she was already at home and that she'd been working up. They'd only just moved in. So she was fixing up the house.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong because, like I said, I'm trying to remember things I've read over the years. So basically, Suzie and Stacy had promised this friend that they would call the next morning, and they hadn't phoned the next morning. So this friend went over, and it was pretty much as you described. This friend went with her boyfriend who kind of swept the light thing up, the globe. Which is like polite. But
Yeah,
okay, let's forget about the tampering with the crime scene because they didn't know it was a crime scene. But if I went over to someone's house and saw they'd left it in a mess, I wouldn't tidy up. Actually, I have done that because it was too much of a mess and I needed it tidy if I was going to hang out there.
I kind of defend them here because all three cars were there. There's 3 cars, one belonging to Sherrill, one belonging to Stacy, and one belonging to Suzie. So you're going to assume they're at home. Globe could have just fallen off anyhow, I guess. Could have just fallen off.
Yeah,
so you're just
possibly.
sweeping it up, just being friendly. I don't think that's too controversial.
Yeah, they didn't know it was a crime scene, so I think it's quite innocent and quite nice that they did that.
Yeah, because some people in the comment section, I was watching a video on YouTube, just saying, what are they doing that for? Which seems a bit harsh.
Yeah, exactly. I don't walk around expecting to walk into a crime scene.
Yeah.
Like, if I see something on the floor, I'm going to pick it up.
Also, when they got in, she didn't notice some of those things. Like, she noticed that beds had been slept in. And they saw that they definitely...
Was this the friends or the mother?
This is a friend. Janelle, I think she was called, or something like that. She's the one who'd held the party the night before and was going to go to the water park with them that day as well, I think. Yeah, she realised they definitely stayed the night because the makeup had been taken off there and definitely been there for a little bit by the sounds of it. But they'd left the cigarettes, and apparently Suzie and Sherrill were both chain smokers, so they thought that was odd. But
wait a minute. Susie's like 17 years old. Why is she chain smoking with her mother?
maybe you just do at that age.
No, not with your mum.
Maybe
Why is her
not with
mum
her.
okay with it?
I don't know. Don't ask me about that.
No, that makes me iffy about their background, okay?
From what I understand, they thought it was odd, but at that point, you don't know what's happened. It's just slightly odd. You don't know they've been kidnapped at that stage, do you? So they just remember thinking something was slightly weird. And they said that phone call happened. This guy on the phone didn't identify himself, so it was just like a strange phone call. So we don't know whether it was like a prank call or whether it was something a bit more dangerous.
Yeah, because you'd assume, again, you normally assume that it might just be a prank call or it's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I'd probably assume it's a prank call if I got a phone call like that.
Yeah, from what I know, it's just slightly lewd. It was like innuendo. So I don't know what exactly was said, so you don't know whether it's dangerous or not, really, do you? I mean, because we use innuendos all the time.
But in that situation, it doesn't look like there's been any forced entry or anything, or a struggle or anything like that. But it had given them like an odd feeling.
Yeah.
They thought it was a bit iffy. So once you got that message coming through the answer phone, wouldn't it just ramp up this feeling that you have even more? Wouldn't you pay more attention, be more vigilant? Write down what is said.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be something you forget, especially on a day like that.
There are some like odd things about it that you think maybe you'd pay a bit more attention. But again, I think some people find it hard to believe that, you're going to go into a house and that someone's been kidnapped.
First of all, I wouldn't just walk into their house. But then again, we don't know the type of place this is.
I think they found the door open, so they thought, might as well go in and see if anyone's there.
Fair enough.
Could also, particularly if you hadn't heard from them, try and find out where they are, at least.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or they could have just gone to the water park, because that's where they said they'd be.
Even though all the cars were there.
Yeah. The mother then, later on, because she was wedding shopping at the time, and because she didn't know they'd gone back to Susie's house, she thought they were at this friend's house, I think Janelle's house. So she'd phoned up there, obviously found out that Stacy wasn't there. She was a bit annoyed with her daughter at this point because she hadn't rang to tell her that. But at this point, she doesn't know anything's gone wrong, so she just thinks she'll see her daughter later. So she gets back to the wedding shopping. But she did later decide to go round to the house. Because how recently they moved in, Stacy's mum didn't have like a phone number for the house.
Wait, she didn't have a phone number for the house, but someone left a message on the answer phone?
No, so Stacy's mum didn't have a phone for the house.
Oh, right, yeah. And
so she's been trying to get in contact, but she doesn't have a phone number for that house. So.
Okay, I thought you meant she didn't have a phone in that house. And
No.
I was like, no, we had the answer phone message. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Carry on.
So Stacy's mum then decides to go round the house, and she was also struck by the odd things. She noticed that the clothes were still there, and that Stacy's clothes in particular were like neatly folded on the floor and stuff like that, which she thought was a little bit odd. All three of the women's purses were just lined up together on the floor. I don't know whether that's weird or not, to be honest.
People have their different habits.
Yeah.
But then she knows her daughter. She knows, oh no, she usually shoves it under the bed or something.
Yeah.
Or hangs it up.
Yeah. She realised the TV was fuzzy as well. I don't know, that can give you like a slightly odd feeling.
Yeah, like white noise.
Yeah. Particularly if no one's in the house, like why would you leave the TV on and stuff like that? I know some...
To make it sound like people are still in the house so people don't try and rob you.
Yeah. She was also the one that played the message on the answer phone, which was from a man, but she said that it was strange, but she said she didn't really hear much of it, or she can't remember much of it.
I'm sorry, but if she remembers, like, bags being lined up on the floor, a TV being fuzzy, you should remember an odd answer phone message.
At this point, I think she's really worried about her daughter. I think she's just listening out for things about where she might be. So I can see how she might not. If you're listening out for things about your daughter, you're not going to hear if it's not involved with that necessarily. unfortunately, we don't know whether this message was important or not.
But the police think it's important. They think it might have been a lead. But also the police do clutch at straws.
I don't. From what I read, the police said they don't know whether it's important or not. It's the problem is they've got no way of knowing now. So
true, but this was 1992. Wasn't there phone records that shows the phone calls going to the house?
I had someone say that phone records only tell you a certain amount. So
well, then they're useless. Come on, NSA, if you spend all your time spying on normal people, make phone records better.
Yeah. People having a go at the mother here, but I was like, she's just wanting to know where her daughter is. Like, people saying, oh, why is she listening to people's messages? But you're trying to find out where they are. You might hope the messages might tell you something. So don't necessarily blame her for that.
I think it's easy for people to blame in hindsight.
Yeah, it's easy for armchair critics to kind of go, oh, why'd she do that? But I think I can understand it in a way. So
if you're panicked, I mean, you're not exactly thinking clearly.
Yeah.
You're doing what you think. Well, you're not even thinking about what you're doing. You're just doing things. You're being.
Yeah, I think that's why she can't remember what the guy was saying on the message, because her mind's elsewhere. So at this point, she decides to phone the police. And what was interesting is the police seemed to instantly see it as a missing person inquiry. I always thought there was meant to be a certain amount of hours.
By the time that she had discovered this, it was 16 hours. But yeah, because they're adults, all three of them were adults. I think it should be at least like 2-3 days or something. It's only that quick if it's a kid.
The only thing, America's got weird laws about age though sometimes, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, so if it's a kid, it's like immediate.
Yeah.
And they do the amber alert and stuff. But if it's an adult, I think you have to give it at least a couple of days.
Yeah, maybe it's 18 over there, some places, isn't it?
How old were the girls? I think one of them was 17, one of them was 18, right?
Yeah.
So 17, maybe?
Well, no, were they both the same age?
No, I think one was a year older than the other.
Yeah, but they were both graduating, weren't they?
Yeah, I know, but you can still be in the same year and be a year older. Could have been held back, or they could have had an awkward birthday, like the September kids. Okay, Suzie Streeter was 19. Stacy McCall was 18. So neither of them were children.
No, clearly not. So, yeah, I just found that weird, because, like, I know I'm going from TV a lot, but they always say, like, 24 hours or something.
I'm pretty sure, I say I'm pretty sure, I don't live there, but I thought it was 2 days, 48 hours for adults and, like, immediately for kids. And even at the immediately for kids, that's a new thing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess treating it a missing persons case is different to actually making it officially a missing person case.
True. Because I think it was quite late by the time she phoned as well. So they asked her to go in to the police station the next day. So I suppose they weren't getting too hot under the collar just yet. But what's weird, apparently, Stacey's mother said the policeman asked her to find their dental records.
Immediately.
Yeah. She was like, that worried her quite a lot when she heard.
And the police get the dental records, not the people.
I guess so.
What do you mean you guess so? Do you know where I work? The police get the dental records.
I don't know. But I don't know whether it's different in America or what.
The police should get the dental records because there's paperwork.
I don't know. Maybe he asked them to find it because at that point they can't actually have it as a missing persons inquiry, so it's just easier for her to get them. I don't know.
I think that's a bit weird. You don't ask the mother of a missing girl for the dental records. You go straight to the source.
It seems to be a bit premature as well. Because at that point...
Premature and unprofessional.
Yeah, because she's worried, but you still don't know that anything's actually happened to them at that point.
Exactly, and you don't want to put that in the mind of a missing person's mother.
Yeah.
Because this woman, I read comments from her last year, 2016, about how she's still, even if it's a 1 in 100% chance that her daughter's alive... 100%, 1 in 100 chance that her daughter's alive, she's gonna go with that one.
Yeah.
Because she just wants to see her child again.
Yeah, she did say at the moment she still believes she's alive just because there's no body and no...
Yeah, you have to have hope.
I mean, they could be. I think there's a reasonable chance they may be, possibly.
I think if it was one of them that went missing, maybe there's still a chance that they're alive.
Yeah.
But 3, I find it hard to believe all 3 would be alive.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he did want to keep one of them alive, I don't think all 3 of them would be alive.
Yeah. Good point, actually.
To be perfectly honest, I don't think any of them are actually alive. But yeah, there's no way all 3 of them are going to be alive.
Yeah.
Unless they all just went off together voluntarily, which we don't believe.
Yeah, you'd think they'd find some way of letting people know. Also, I was hearing one of them, I think one of the daughters, is it either Stacy or
Suzie.
One of them had a promising career ahead of them or something like that, or they had something promising going for them, so she didn't really have much reason to move. So
I also think because, you know, it got publicised a lot.
Yeah.
So
you'd find
it'll
a
be
way
hard.
of being found. It eventually became clear, obviously, that these 3 women had gone missing and they've never been seen or heard from. Actually, there was possible sighting that came to the police's knowledge at some point, I think, afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Suzie was seen driving a van.
Oh, yeah, no, I knew about that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure when that was exactly, but I heard...
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the morning after, right?
The morning after,
And it wasn't on her street, it was on a different street.
Yeah, it's about a mile away.
And apparently, somehow the witness heard from the car a man shouting at her, "Don't try anything stupid," or something along those lines.
Yeah,
I'm paraphrasing now.
Yeah, it was, "Don't do anything stupid, just back up."
The most cliched thing.
And get us out.
Kidnapper says.
Yeah.
And how the hell could the witness have heard it that clearly? Unless the car was just stationary. And if it was stationary, she should have seen more.
Also, I mean, if you're saying that, it's kind of drawing attention to yourself.
Exactly.
You'd surely try and whisper it or something if you're going to...
Yeah, clearly, because that's the only thing the witness heard.
Yeah. The police and Stacy's mother seem to believe it's quite credible, though.
Yeah, I can see it happening. But still, I don't like the bit about him shouting.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it happening because, to be honest, to get all 3 of them away, I think it was more than one person.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
It must have, they must have been manipulating the girls. Because there was no struggle, so it's not like they were taken by force. They must have threatened them somehow. And they do that, well, I say they do that a lot, but I'm going by fiction. But they get the victims to drive, so it looks less suspicious.
Yeah. And also, if we believe this true, it means Suzie must have been at least alive. So, and I'm sure I heard something about someone hearing that they got to get rid of the other 2 or something like that. I'm not sure where I heard that, though.
I'm sorry, if you heard all this, right, you go straight to 911. You don't wait.
No, she might not have heard that bit. That might have been from somewhere else.
Okay.
But this person said that they didn't go to the police at the time because they didn't know about the 3 missing women.
Oh, that's okay then. But you knew something was wrong and this girl was getting threatened.
I don't know. Is it saying don't do anything stupid?
I'm sorry, but no. She said in the statement that Suzie looked distressed and she heard someone shouting, "Don't do anything stupid" to her. If you were that person, that witness, what would you think was happening? Something's happening.
Yeah, true, I guess.
And Springfield, it's supposed to be like a small place, right?
Yeah.
So people should know each other. It's not like London where you just don't make eye contact to anyone no matter what's going on.
Yeah, I suppose that is a little bit weird. This came to light a good, couple of weeks after as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was only apparently after she saw a picture of Suzie on one of the missing people's kind of signs.
I just think it's weird. Witnesses are probably the most unreliable things.
Well, that's a good point, actually, because the police was actually saying that the amount of people who apparently saw this van and the amount of different colours it's supposed to have been. Because, this woman said it was a celery kind of coloured, silver greeny coloured. But then some other guy said it was brown coloured. And then other people have said it was silver, it was white, it was goodness knows how many colours.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how reliable.
People just latch onto one thing, one descriptive feature. Remember when Maddie McCann went missing? How many sightings have there were her?
Yeah.
Not just in Portugal, all over the world.
Yeah.
And most of them probably were nothing. I don't know how many credible ones there actually were.
Yeah, I mean, the police, to try and get information, they even, literally brought the same type of van and painted it the colour that this woman saw it was, but it still didn't help them much. And I think they just said they just got so much contradicting information they couldn't really go that far with that kind of lead. So and I think they tried tracing the van as well or something like that,
which must have been difficult if they didn't know the model and the license plate number.
They knew the model.
Okay.
I'm not sure they knew.
But they didn't know the actual colour, and they didn't know the license plate number.
Not really, I don't think.
And this could be quite a common car, you don't know.
Yeah, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we're nearly on to suspects.
I think we are on to suspects.
Pretty much. Yeah, so there was one early suspect, but he quickly got ruled out, and that was Sherrill's son and obviously Susie's brother, Bart, at the time.
Bart with 2 T's.
Yeah.
And can I just say, he's called Bart and they live in Springfield.
True, good point. He had a drinking problem at the time, and he was actually estranged from both Sherrill and Suzie at that point. He'd always had like a difficult relationship with Sherrill, and he'd fallen out with Suzie recently, who had been living with him at the time, but she decides to move back in with her mum after this.
Wait. Okay, this makes me iffy about Suzie and her mum's relationship.
Why?
Well, because of the chain smoking with your daughter, and why would your teenage daughter, who's still in high school, choose to live with her alcoholic brother over you?
Yeah, I suppose. I think they're just a little bit rebellious, though, I think.
But she's underage. She should be living with her mother, and if her mother wanted to, she could do something about it.
I don't know, she's 18 though at that point, or 19. Which one was she? She's a little bit. She's going to start wanting her independence, isn't she?
I just think it's a bit iffy.
I don't know.
And her brother somehow ended up as an alcoholic. I think it's a bit iffy.
Well, it runs in the family apparently. Quite a lot of Cheryl's family were alcoholics.
Was Sherrill an alcoholic?
No, but like a lot of the men she was with, like relationship-wise, also had drink problems.
Okay, so again, iffy background. Abusive alcoholics in the household.
Yeah. I noticed like Sherrill had a different surname to Stacy, so whether she'd been married again or something like that. I don't know how many times she's been married, so...
But Suzie had the same surname as her brother, so it might just be Sherrill kept her maiden name.
Maybe, yeah.
And they're named after their father.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, so she might have been married a couple of times, we don't know.
Which is weird why we don't know that, because in the area it's quite a big thing that happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the media was like in 1992, but I'm pretty sure it's not that different now.
Yeah.
And they uncover everything about a victim.
Yeah.
So it's weird that they didn't do that with these people.
Yeah. Well, it didn't matter too much anyway, because he passed a polygraph test, and turned out he just got drunk that night and ended up falling asleep on his couch. So
wait, so is that according to the polygraph test, or was that corroborated?
It's corroborated.
Okay, good. Because polygraph tests aren't exactly the greatest indicators.
No, probably not.
They can be manipulated.
No, but he was ruled out quite early. I think he felt quite a lot of regret about the fact that he didn't make up with his mum and sister before it all happened. So moving on to the next suspect, that was Dustin. Forgotten what his surname was.
Rixler, something like that.
I'll let you do the silly name.
Reckler. Recla. I've opened up I'm reading this now. I stopped doing it from memory a long time ago. Dustin Reckler.
Yeah, Dustin Reckler. He actually turned out to be Susie's ex-boyfriend, and he'd been her boyfriend at the time when he apparently vandalised the cemetery.
Not just vandalising the cemetery. Grave robbing.
Yeah, they left skulls in a tree, and they even stole gold teeth from the skulls and attempted to sell them at a pawn shop. Which
you can only get away at the most dodgiest pawn shops.
Yeah, well, I think they were successful as well, because this guy had their identity card. And that's how they found out about Dustin.
Okay.
Susie's testimony as well, I think, was very useful in getting Dustin charged as well. So it's possible he may have held a bit of a grudge. But he was also friends with Michael Clay, who was involved with the grave robbing and all that stuff. He also apparently in a police statement or in an interview with a police officer said he wished those bitches were dead.
You don't say that when you're being questioned for the kidnapping murder.
His reason for saying this was that he didn't like the investigator and he was just trying to annoy him or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's great. He seems like an intelligent boy. Do you know if these two are the same age as Suzie and Stacy?
I've got no idea, actually. I kind of feel they would be, but I'm not actually totally sure. They could be older, but I've got no idea. But it's one interesting thing about Michael Clay, apparently, and in the video I watched, a policeman went round to his house one day, and apparently while he was out, he managed to get into the house, but he's let in by Michael Clay's sister. There had been like a load of weird ritualistic paraphernalia, which I think is essentially like satanic stuff, I think, is what they're trying to get at. But then when the policeman went round the next day, all that stuff had disappeared.
You usually tidy up when people are coming over there. Could be innocent.
If it's ritualistic.
Yeah, but if you think about all the shit I've got in my room, they're like memorabilia and stuff. If people came into it, they'd think I'd be up to dodgy shit, but I can't be asked to do anything. I'm not going to do any rituals. I'm not going to do any sacrifices. Can't be bothered.
When someone's just been kidnapped, though.
True.
Weird. I suppose one of the more sensationalist claims is that this could be some cult thing, but I'm not sure that's really that believable, to be honest.
I don't think it is.
The only thing that I think makes sense with cult-wise is that it was more than one person involved in this. But
True.
It's still a long jump. I think it's got to be someone who maybe possibly knew the neighbourhood.
I'm pretty sure that it must be some sort of a local. I don't think it's like a drifter going through town.
Yeah.
Or an opportunist. I think it was planned and premeditated.
I don't know about planned necessarily as such. Not directly on that night, because I think they say about one of the other suspects, because they made a last-minute change about where they were going to stay. So I just think it was someone who had maybe watched the house a lot.
Well, I was thinking of Sherrill. Maybe someone was after Sherrill and the girls were home unexpectedly, and that might have just ruined their plan.
Depends on who's targeted, I think.
True.
And that's what there's some debate about, I think.
Or because they recently moved into the house, maybe it was someone that was after the previous tenants.
Yeah, possibly. And then realised he got the wrong people.
And then killed them.
Which I suppose you could do, because
I
don't think they're going to take too kindly to being kidnapped.
No, you can't just let them go if they've seen your face.
Yeah.
And even if they haven't, they might have seen other things about you that could make you recognisable to the police.
Yeah.
So basically, when you kidnap someone, you should actually just kill them.
Yeah.
If you're really hoping to cover it up and you don't want to get sent to prison, I'm giving advice to kidnappers.
Yeah.
But if you were going to do it, you probably should kill the victims after, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. Anyway, these two, they never end up getting charged for... Well, they got charged for, like, the grave robbery and stuff like that, but I think they got probation. They had alibis, apparently, or not concrete alibis, the police said, but they apparently both at a rock concert, which can neither really prove true or false, so...
The ticket stubs, I mean, don't they check... 1992, I wouldn't know, actually, because now they scan when you're going in your tickets. I mean, I don't know what the protocol would have been in 1992.
Yeah. I think tickets can be quite easily you just get someone else's tickets.
Yeah. And it's not like you can trust the witnesses at a rock concert.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what mentality they're going to be of that night. And I don't know what CCTV is like in the area, but it's 1992. Even if nowadays it's prevalent, it probably wouldn't have been back then.
Yeah, I was just going what the policeman said. They said you can neither really corroborate it or not, so I couldn't really do much for them. But they've never ruled out as suspects as such, or people of interest, they call them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think there's more plausible theories than these two. I think Stacey's mum was saying, like, they could understand, like, the kidnap, and then you let them go a few weeks later.
To frighten them.
Yeah, just to frighten them, but going all the whole hog and murdering them, that's a bit extreme, I think.
Yeah, they seem like teen boys that have gotten into trouble, but that's it. Teenage boys get into trouble all the time. It's bad. But it happens. And just because they have done one criminal activity doesn't mean that they're capable of doing another. Because grave robbing, or because they are stupid, immature kids, they'll think it's not affecting anybody.
Yeah.
Because these people are just dead. But that's not on the same level as kidnap and murder. Just because, like, I was capable of, stealing those pick and mix from Woolworths as I'm walking through, doesn't mean I'm capable of, like, planning a bank heist.
I bet you are.
I'm probably capable of planning it, but actually doing it, come on now. Can I be bothered? No.
It's so much effort, isn't it, really?
It is. Being a criminal is hard.
Yeah.
Maybe we should actually respect them more because they actually had the balls and the energy to do it.
True.
Well, not murderers or, like, kidnappers,
No,
obviously.
no.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Anyway. Obviously.
Suggest that anyway.
Yeah.
So we move on to the second suspect, and
suspect, technically. Fourth suspect. Suspect, yeah.
Well done, you can count.
It took me a while to get to that, and it took me a while to say suspect, so...
And the next suspect is, for many people, the most convincing suspect, I think, and that is Robert Craig Cox, who had previous history, criminal history, quite a lengthy history, actually. How he was free is quite, I think, controversial to some people.
He's not free now, is he?
No, how he was free at the point, though.
Yeah.
Because he'd been suspected of murder in Florida, and Sharon Zeller, I think it is. And it's quite a weird case. I think he just recently graduated to the military or something like that. And he was celebrating up in Florida, and he'd gone out for a night out, and he came back to his parents' motel with his tongue had been bitten.
Bitten off?
Not bitten off, but it had been bitten.
Okay.
And he claimed he managed to do this himself somehow, but the doctors apparently said there's no way he could have done that. And later on, Sharon Zeller's body was found, and somehow they connected it to him. I'm not quite sure how, but it's in...
DNA?
No, I think this is the 80s, it's not...
Yeah, but if she had bitten him... Well, there was DNA evidence in the 80s. If she had bitten him, what if, like, some of his flesh was in between her teeth or something?
Yeah, they had reason to suspect him. And it did go to court, and I think he may have got convicted the first time, but then there was an appeal, and I think it got thrown out.
And then he couldn't be retried.
Yeah. So they'd gone to the Supreme Court, and they rejected it because they felt there was a lack of evidence. So that's how he turned out being free. But I think he'd done a few other crimes after this. Anyway, he ends up in Springfield. At the time of the disappearance, he was working as an underground utilities officer, which some people believe, like, he'd have the uniform, so he'd be able to get into people's houses.
But the light, that's what I always think about. It doesn't seem like it's 4th century, but the light.
Yeah, I still don't work out how that was done. Is it one of the women, like, what if one of them's been like carried out or something like that, and they're trying to flail about? That
could work, but usually if I think about a light being smashed, I think it's maybe the killer because it's light. It's dark out. They don't want any of the neighbours seeing what's going on.
Well, from what I heard from this video, it was only the globe that smashed.
Oh, so the light was intact?
Yeah, the light still worked and was intact.
Okay, that could work. So someone they trusted, they let inside the house, and there's struggle as they're going out.
Yeah.
And someone hits out.
Yeah.
And hits the globe.
That's what I was thinking. Because would you go deliberately smash something like that?
Maybe only if it's CCTV camera or if it's the actual light.
Yeah.
But yeah, the actual just plastic bit, or glass bit, I wouldn't bother with.
Yeah. I don't know how it gets like that. It's weird why it ends up like that.
Mm.
But what's also interesting about this guy was he actually worked as a mechanic at the same place where Stacy's dad worked, and Stacy would quite often go up to the this place where her dad worked, and so he may well have encountered Stacy quite a few times. So some believe he may have been targeting Stacy, and that he may have just been planning to kidnap her, but ended up having to kidnap all 3 of them. I don't know how that works.
Wouldn't you just kill them and leave them behind? Because it's harder to kidnap 3 people than it is 1.
Yeah. And it's here where they say the police don't believe it was a planned attack by this guy, because the girls made this last minute change not to stay at their friend's house. So they don't believe he outright planned it. So there had to be a degree. He may have been following them and then decided to take them at Susie's house or something like that. Maybe,
because that's probably the best place to actually take it, because it's an unplanned, excursion. No one else really knows about it.
Yeah.
There'd be a delay in people figuring out that they've been kidnapped. Well, she's been kidnapped. And he could have found out about their plans to stay at a friend's house from the father.
Yeah.
And then when he's following them and he sees, they've left, that's him thinking, that's the perfect opportunity.
Yeah. Either that, or he's got to have been watching Susie's house for some time. He was going to do it at some point, and it just...
But then it's Stacy that people are thinking that he's linked to.
That's some theory, but whether it's true or not, I don't know.
We'll never know, because he said that he's only going to admit to stuff. He's basically admitted it, but the fact that he's basically admitted it without admitting it makes me think he didn't do it.
It's weird, because he always says enough to intrigue the police, but he never says anything to incriminate himself, so he can't tell whether he did it or not. Because he claims to know that they're dead, somehow.
Yeah, and they're very close to Springfield.
Yeah.
And that all will be revealed when his mum dies.
Yeah. He also said he believes he did this was experienced and knew what they were doing. So is he talking about himself there? Because I think
he got away with murder the first time.
Also, I think he had experience of abduction, if I remember rightly, as well. I think he'd done this kind of thing before, if I remember rightly.
I thought it was that the abduction and murder was of the same person.
Possibly, but I think there might have been another case. I can't remember now. But he clearly had experience of abduction, so it's...
Great. Well, he's a convicted kidnapper, actually.
Yeah.
So he must have kidnapped someone before this Sharon.
Yeah. I think, he's got the experience, but I just don't know. When you're, bragging about it like that, if you're bragging, surely you would want people to know you did it.
The thing is,
if you're in prison
on
anyway,
paper...
what difference does it make?
Yeah. On paper, looking at his history, it seems like he must be the guy. But because of his behaviour, I don't really believe it.
Yeah.
I don't buy that he did it.
Yeah, some people just, I think, believe he wants the attention.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people like that. But usually that only happens when people have been sentenced to life.
Yeah.
And they can't get out anywhere. That's probably why he isn't openly admitting it. He's just saying little details because he doesn't want to actually get in trouble. But then he's a guy that's been in trouble with the law before, so he probably isn't that friendly with police. He doesn't like them. So he's making them maybe go on a wild goose chase.
I have heard videos saying he does like to toy with people. He likes to toy with the police in particular.
Basically, he's a psychopath.
And I saw the video of him actually talking, and he's not outright creepy, but he's really there's a really smug quality to him.
Mm.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but then he also had an alibi, didn't he? First it was his girlfriend, and then it was his parents.
Well, he did have an alibi at first. For 3 years he had an alibi, which was his girlfriend. She told police that he'd taken them to church. Her and her son, I think, to church. But 3 years later, after he'd moved on to Texas, which was where he was arrested for aggravated robbery, she told the Springfield police that he told her to say that to the police.
At that point, if I was a police officer in Springfield, I would have arrested the shit out of her. Because at some point she's been lying to the police.
Well, obviously she did, but she claims not to have known about these 3 missing people.
What, for 3 years?
Yeah, how you don't find out about it, I do not know. But yeah, so, I mean, the only defence is apparently this guy was very convincing, very charismatic, so he clearly convinced her.
The best psychopaths are. Wasn't Ted Bundy was very charismatic as well?
Yeah.
And look at all the shit he did.
Yeah, because didn't he manage to convince people he wasn't guilty at some point, didn't he?
Yeah, he managed to convince people he was a lawyer. He represented himself, and the judge gave him props as well, saying that clearly you're an evil psychopath that did this, but I like you, mate. Well, he didn't say that, but exactly. in those words.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very charismatic.
That's how he was so
I think
successful,
he was,
wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was good looking, wasn't he?
Well, it's not for me to judge as such, but apparently...
Well, he's not my type of person, but that's because I also have the knowledge that he's a serial killer.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm particularly the best judge. Maybe if I was alive in that time and I met him in a bar, I might fancy him.
What I would say is he doesn't look like a typical serial killer. He's not like Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper or something.
Yeah.
But
he's not like that clown killer either.
Who?
You know, that clown killer, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. You know, the big fat guy that dressed up as a clown for charity events, and he'd kill young men and bury them after having sex with them, and bury them in the crawl space of his house. What's his name? I've forgotten now.
Is it not Jason, is it? Or something like that?
No.
I know who you're talking about as well.
Yeah, I know who I'm talking about as well, but it's really frustrating that I can't remember his name.
Look it up on the internet.
Clown killer. I don't think that's the actual name, though.
Gary. Is it Gary something?
That sounds a bit familiar. John Wayne Gacy.
That's it. I watched the documentary on that.
He's really fucking creepy.
Yeah, I kind of regretted watching that one a little bit, actually.
Yeah. The thing is, I always regret reading these things and watching these things, but it's also very interesting.
Yeah. That one.
Anyway.
Yeah, getting back to this guy. Well, actually, I think that's pretty much all there is. They do consider him a person of interest, but there's
got
no
evidence.
Yeah.
But fast forward 15 years after the murder.
Yeah.
Oh, do you not know this bit?
The hospital.
Yes.
Mr. Rick Norland, He was a mechanical engineer.
So he was contacted by a investigator or journalist. Investigative journalist. They can be both.
Yeah, I suppose. This woman, apparently, she'd heard from some person had a dream or something like that, or some psychic. She got a lot of people who were like psychics and stuff like that, and people who had dreams saying, "Oh, I know where they're buried." But she did set her. She heard a lot of people say the garage of this hospital is where these 3 women were meant to be.
Yeah, which the timeline sort of fits because the garage was sort of completed the year after they disappeared.
Yeah, so
they must have been working there and doing something anyway during that time, I'm guessing. Or they could have got killed later than there, a while after they were kidnapped and buried there. So that could work.
Yeah. Most people, I think, say it was under construction at the time, so it's possible, because the police were trying to say, it was built a year after, so it can't be there.
No, it was a work in progress. I mean, it's not like it happens overnight.
Yeah.
I don't like the police's attitude about this hospital, by the way.
Yeah, it's very weird. Getting back to this mechanical engineer, he's a proper, expert as well. He's not one of these amateurs as well.
He's not us.
No. He specialises in ground-penetrating radar, and he actually worked at Ground Zero trying to find, debris, so it's a proper mechanical engineer, not someone with a metal detector or something like that.
Shit, I was hoping to become him.
He was using his machine or whatever it was. It sounds so scientific. But this machine basically can detect changes in the material of the ground and stuff like that. It doesn't give you clear pictures of what's underneath. It gives you an idea of what's underneath. And this machine showed that there were 3 anomalies underneath this garage floor. He also went on to say that these are consistent with what you'd find in a graveyard.
But he couldn't confirm that they were 100% bodies without further investigation.
Yeah, they don't give you a picture of 3 corpses, so unfortunately you don't know what exactly is down there. And the police, apparently they've not got concrete evidence that there's 3 bodies down there. They won't dig up this hospital floor.
So you don't have to dig up the whole bloody floor.
Yeah.
You just have to dig up the area where the anomalies are, which is what I don't like.
On the blogs and I think YouTube videos, all the comments are, why aren't they digging up the floor? It can't be that difficult.
It's one area of the building.
I think this guy, Rick Norland, I think he even offered to pay for it or something. Someone offered to pay for it to be dug up.
That's why I'm thinking, because up until that point, it seems like, it's a mysterious case and there are no leads. But when you've got the police that aren't investigating a lead about bodies from someone that is respected, I feel like the police are in on it, or I feel suddenly distrustful of the police. Maybe they do have information about it. Maybe it's someone that's, of importance and they're covering it up. Who knows? But I don't like the fact that they aren't investigating this thing.
Yeah, I think it is fueling people who believe that there is some kind of conspiracy kind of thing there, that it's someone high up that they're trying to protect. And it may or may not be true. What is convincing people that it might be is the fact that you're not doing anything about it,
Exactly. And you wouldn't even have to dig up, just do some additional testing or something.
Yeah.
You don't have to dig up the whole area, dig up part of it.
Yeah.
And someone else is offering to pay for it.
Yeah. I heard some people on the video, underneath videos, they're saying, oh, we could just go do this ourselves, couldn't we?
Well, no, because then we would have been tampering with a crime scene if there are bodies there.
But also, these hospitals have security as well.
True. So we can't really.
You'd have to go about it.
Unless they sign off on it.
Because I hear conflicting things about this. I heard they had agreed to it, but it's just the police digging their heels in, or... Yeah,
I think I heard that. I think Thinking Sideways did a podcast on this a while ago, but I think they said something about that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, if the place is giving you consent, an expert is saying that they'll pay themselves to do it, why can't we just do it?
Yeah.
But then I guess the the hospital don't want to do anything without the police's permission.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, the police can say there's not enough evidence that there's a corpse down there.
Yeah, but after 10 years of people saying, shouting corruption because of this, wouldn't you just do it just to shut everyone up, even if you aren't corrupt?
Yeah.
But then at this point, if they do it and they find there's bodies under there, how much face are they going to lose?
Yeah. There's something strange about that, I think.
Yeah, I find it really, really strange.
And that's the frustrating thing. You don't know whether they're underneath there or not, because the police won't pull their finger out there, so...
It really does make me think it's some, like, high-level person in the government in that area, or city official, that they're trying to cover up.
Yeah. What I can see it as being maybe someone high up's, like, son or something like that.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
I can see it being that.
It's just really weird.
There's only one other suspect that I've possibly found, but he's a bit sketchy, this guy. It's a guy called Gerald Carnahan, I think.
I don't think I know of him.
I just read this briefly somewhere. He has a history of attempted kidnapping. So I don't know whether he's been successful or not. I think attempted means you fail, isn't it?
Yeah,
pretty much.
That means he failed. If he failed the first time when he's kidnapping one person, I hardly think he's going to graduate to kidnapping 3 successfully and making sure they're never seen or heard of again.
Exactly. He did raise suspicions, I think, for some people, because he'd been long suspected of a murder and also the rape of a woman called Jackie Johns. This happened in 1985. She was from a place called... I've forgotten where the place was now.
Doesn't matter.
But it's nearby to Springfield. It wasn't exactly in Springfield, but he apparently dumped her body in Lake Springfield. So he was around the area at the time. But he didn't get convicted until, I think, the 2000s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because at the time, I think the DNA evidence was a bit sketchy and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I guess. And they keep samples to retest when the technology is better. Yeah,
and this is exactly what happened. He got pulled over, I think, for speeding or something like that. And they took a test and it came positive or something like that. And so that's how they finally knew that he was involved in this case. So they believe he may have possibly, some people suspect that he may have been involved. Because he's got that kind of history, so... But as you say, to go from like attempted kidnapping, like failing to kidnap one person. But then again,
he might have been successful and we haven't heard about it.
Yeah, true.
He could have disappeared those bodies.
Yeah, I think you said earlier, it's got to be more than one person.
That's what I'm thinking, because I don't think it's Dustin and his friend, because I think they're just immature boys being boys. But the other ones don't ring true for me, because it has to be more than one person.
Yeah.
There's no way one person would have kidnapped 3 girls unless he like drugged them or hit them or something before and knocked them out, but there's no signs of struggle in the house.
Yeah. Going back to that Robert Craig Cox, I think someone somewhere suggested it's possible that he was involved in it somehow.
Possibly, maybe, and that's why he hasn't openly admitted it, but he's saying, oh, they're definitely dead, they're buried, the person who did it was experienced.
Yeah.
So maybe he was involved. Maybe he wasn't the main perpetrator.
Yeah, I mean, they seem like kind of good friends as well, so I see it's hard as you convincing them to go against each other. I mean, maybe if you pressured them enough in the situation, they might do.
What, you mean the murderers?
Well, yeah, because you said apparently Suzie... No, I mean the
girls.
The girls.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we know it's possible that Suzie might have been still alive at some point while the other 2 were dead.
I don't think they were killed in the house.
Yeah.
I think they must have lived long enough to be out of the house.
The only other I can think of that possibly happened to them was that they were taken somewhere and just kept as slaves or something like that, because you do hear those kind of cases. Yeah,
you do, but usually it's not more than one person.
No,
at a time. Maybe the kidnapper might collect people as the years go on, but kidnapping 3 people in one go, it's a bit... that's why I don't think they're actually still alive. I don't really think there's any chance they're alive.
I think that's the only kind of circumstances in which they'd be still alive. So
yeah,
and it's not necessarily a nice existence if they are still alive.
No, it's not. So a lot of them might want to wish they're dead anyway. Yeah.
It'd be great to wish they are alive and happy somewhere, but...
No, but it's... Yeah, it'd be great to wish they just decided, fuck it, this world is shit. I mean, in 25 years, Donald Trump is going to be running the place. I don't like him now. And they decide to disappear themselves, but I don't think they would have just walked out willingly.
Yeah, I think on one blog I did see a comment saying, oh, maybe they're on witness protection, but you'd find a way of telling your family, wouldn't you?
I'm sorry, if you're on witness protection, that is part of that's a government programme, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't disappear you like that.
Yeah.
In a massive controversy and with loads of police pressure.
Yeah, also, I don't get how it'd be those 3 people as well. I can understand the mother and the daughter maybe, but why Stacy as well?
Maybe she was involved in saw something. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. It's
But
just,
witness protection is just, that's a shit idea. I mean, that's an optimistic idea for people that want to believe they're alive, but it's not really a good theory, I don't think.
Yeah.
It must have been more than one person, and the police have made me feel iffy about them, so I think it must be involving someone in government or their little town. I don't know how big Springfield is, I don't know what type of town it is, or someone of prominence in that area.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it, though, this one?
It's really weird, this one.
Why you choose to kill all three, though? Why would they be after them anyway? Is it some kind of, like, personal connection?
Don't know. I wish we knew more about Suzie and Sherrill's background, so...
Yeah. Is it just, like, some kind of nutcase that's been stalking one of them? That's what's so mysterious about this one.
I don't know if we're ever really going to know unless, like, Robert Cox actually was involved and he does honour his promise to actually talk about it when his mum dies.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when's his mum going to die? He must be getting there now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if his mum is a decent human being, she'd just tell him, you know what, doesn't matter if I'm dead or not, just don't admit it.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm not entirely sure he's got anything to do with it, to be honest.
True.
I just think he's peacocking.
I think he's just glory hunting.
Yeah.
That's why he's just teasing people, but he's not actually giving out any information.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd leave clues or something if it was really him and he really wants to just shove it in the police's face. But he's not saying anything. He's literally not giving out any information.
Yeah. He's not saying anything of substance. He's just saying, I know they're dead. He's not saying how.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying I know they're dead, but because I'm not optimistic. That doesn't mean that I killed them.
Yeah. I mean, I think experience generally tells you that they're probably dead. Well, not experience as such, but, like, experience of reading about these things.
Yeah, it has been 25 years.
Yeah.
And if it was just one of them, I'd still believe that maybe the chances are they're dead. But 3 of them, I don't think they're going to be alive. Especially after, like, you know, it's publicised and stuff.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because more publicity... I get why throwing publicity at a kidnapped person is good. It's because if civilians see them around, they might be able to help the police. But also, it puts the person in danger, the victim in danger. Because if I'm going to go around kidnapping people, I don't want a kid that's all over the TV in my back seat. I need to get rid of that kid.
Yeah.
Or put in a dungeon, apparently. That's why I don't think Maddie McCann's still alive.
I don't know. I mean, that's the only way I can see them being alive, though, if they are.
Yeah, it's optimistic, but in my personal opinion, I don't think they are. They might have lived a little while after they went missing, but I don't think it was for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a somber note.
Yeah.
This is quite depressing after our, few weeks of biographies.
Yeah.
We did it for like a month. We were just talking about other people's lives and how they're inspirational.
Yeah. Well, I hope either way someone finds out what happened.
Yeah, I hope they get closure, because the thing is they're in limbo. I mean, they know that their loved one is gone. In their head, they probably think the most realistic thing is that they're dead, but they love the person and they want to believe they're alive, so they're going to go through that want rather than realism. They can't just shut the door on it.
Yeah.
They're thinking that the person is still out there.
I think that's why the police's actions are so pig-headed as well.
Yeah, it's... Oh, God, man. I just think there's something iffy with those police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll never might not find out, so...
No. Not in our lifetime. They've been gone our whole lifetimes, Matt. That's how long they've been missing.
That's so close to what the mother said, like the documentary, Stacy's mother. She said they've now been gone longer than she had, like, her daughter in her life.
Yeah, I read a comment from her saying, in my head she's 18. When I see her, she's 18. And then I realised that this is from years ago. And then I realised she's actually 38. She's a grown woman.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know if she is still alive. You don't know what she'd even look like these days.
Well, 18, that's usually when all your features have already kicked in.
Yeah.
So I think you'd look pretty much the same. You just might look a bit more wrinkled or more, more weight, less weight.
Depends what you've gone through, to be honest, doesn't it, I suppose?
True. If she has been kept alive, I'm assuming it was indoors, no sun, so her skin tone would be different.
Yeah.
She'd be lacking vitamin D.
Yeah, I guess the evidence suggests they're probably Well, there's no evidence, but you'd think they'd probably be dead.
Yeah. It's a shame. The girls, they were young. I mean, they were literally just starting to start their lives. And they're pretty girls. I've seen pictures of them. They look nice, which is also more sinister because of, you know, them being kidnapped and shit.
Yeah. I think that's what Stacy's mum was saying, that why Stacy might have been targeted. Because, you know, they're both good-looking girls, and, you know, that's might be what tempted.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's spooky how, like, easily they've managed to get away with it, whoever this was.
Yeah.
They've kind of managed to do it without leaving any signs of who they are.
Really sinister.
Yeah.
And unless someone comes out and admits it or they get found, I don't think we're ever really going to figure it out because there's no evidence. The police aren't doing anything, even though they've said that they're still working on the case. I mean, clearly you're not.
Yeah.
If you're ignoring the one lead you have,
Yeah.
clearly you are not doing everything you can.
I mean, I get it. They can say they were a bit hindered early on by, like, friends and the mother kind of doing stuff.
Yeah, but they're police, shouldn't they be used to that?
I don't know how answer machines work, but do you just lose it instantly, that message? Not some
know.
way of trying to find it?
Well, actually, yeah, you probably could. Well, I don't know. Maybe they could get a techie, but this was 1992.
True.
I don't know how complex answer machines are. It's not like now where you have, like, the iCloud and everything saves onto there.
Yeah.
Or everything's got an external server. This is the basic answer phone.
Yeah. I've got really no idea how they work, so I don't know,
I don't know.
what I was suggesting is stupid or not.
Yeah, well, it depends on it's a digital one. I don't know if it would be a tape one because it's 1992. If it's a tape one, it's even more awkward if it was deleted.
Yeah.
How could she delete it because it's on tape? She'd actually have to go through effort.
Yeah.
So it can't be a tape answer machine.
But I was thinking about the Globe. Yeah, someone swept it up, but surely the bins weren't collected literally within the space of time the police go in there. Surely it could have found some of that.
Well, maybe they needed to know, like, how it fell, where it was laid. That way you can tell from which angle it was hit.
Yeah.
Or see if it was hit by an arm, and then maybe they could figure out the heights of the perpetrator or something like that. I'm clutching at straws, really, but because I don't know how much you can get just from one thing.
Yeah.
But then again, you don't know how much evidence you're going to get from the one thing. So obviously they'd want everything to be intact.
Yeah.
So I can see why it's frustrating for them, because they've got all these bits of evidence that it might not even be evidence, but things that could have been evidence.
Yeah.
That they've been taken care of.
Yeah. No, because I was only thinking if someone's, like, kind of the hands touched it, whether you could maybe get a little bit of...
Yeah, I thought that after I thought about the complex reasons that I'd originally said.
Yeah.
And it's like, what about, like, the splatter of the glass? And it's like, no, fingerprints.
Yeah. Also, if it's like a hand or an arm, that could hurt. Blood, maybe, you know?
Possibly.
I don't know, it's frustrating, isn't it?
It is. Oh, Lord, I really don't think we're going to get anywhere with this one. I know we usually solve it, and, like, the listeners are used to us solving these mysteries.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to solve this one.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, though.
Yeah, it's actually quite a sad one, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, all the murder
because
ones.
you need closure in cases like this.
Yeah.
At least bodies.
Yeah. I think it's just the fact there's hardly any, like...
Yeah, it's like they disappeared. Literally disappeared.
There's literally no sign of where they are, where they might have gone.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Like, when I sent you that message and you replied back, the Springfield Three, I was like, excited, and then part of me, like, literally drowned a little bit. I was like, oh, shit.
Why is that?
Because I was excited because it was an exciting and interesting case, and then part of me sank because I was like, we're not going to be able to figure this one out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what we do.
You did tell me to go for one of the unsolved cases, though. That was...
Yeah, I did specify it had to be an unsolved case.
Yeah.
Is that on our list?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I don't know whether you read about this one or I read about it I was going through a list of unsolved crimes ages ago.
I've known about this one for a while because, you know, of my nighttime reading activities that have been going on for years. So I've known about this one for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not going to get any closure, unfortunately.
No.
Only
if someone comes out with some information, but I doubt it. And the plea, I mean, it's been a good, I think...
25, it was almost 25 years.
Yeah, but even, like, since this hospital discovery...
Yeah, that's 10 years.
10 years, so the police they're going slow about it. So if we ever find out about it, we'll be lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I think we should bring this to a close.
Yeah, we probably should, because this is really long.
Yeah.
It's probably going to end up being longer than Sophie Blanchard, which we thought was going to be really short.
Yeah.
But then I sort of knew this one was going to end up being really long.
True.
Because there's actually stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's a good few, 3 suspects, 4, 5.
4 suspects. 5 if you include the attempted kidnapper.
Gerald. Such a nice name as well, isn't it?
Jerry. Jerry, are you jelly? Anyway, yeah, I think we should probably wrap this up and head off and go contemplate life. It really makes you think, though. Like, you could just literally disappear.
Yeah. I get the feeling they didn't have a clue this was going to happen to them. Well,
No,
I don't think you do, but I think that's what's scary about it. Like, you just have no clue, and then all of a sudden you're in that situation.
Jesus Christ.
God,
maybe I'm lucky that there's a family and then 2 families in sheds next door.
Yeah.
Just in case.
That's what scares me about Lucy, and there's some fucking guy underneath their beds or something like that.
It scares you about what?
You know Luther, the TV series?
Oh, yeah.
There's always like a guy who's managed to get in their door and it's under their bed or something like that. It always makes me think about the kind of people that could be, following me around, getting in through my door.
No one's following you around that. You're doing the following.
I'm a sexy person. I'm.
To dogs.
Shut up.
Well, no one can fit under my bed because there's no space. It's got drawers under there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I sleep on a sofa at the moment, so it's hard.
I think most people don't have space under their beds.
No, I don't think they do. It must be just in Luther they do.
Yeah. The props department can't fork out for any more beds, so they have to build a storyline around it.
Yeah. Is that ever coming back, Luther?
I don't know. The thing is, they did that one-off 2-part thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was to whet appetites, and maybe they do it again in the future. But people didn't like it without Alice. I didn't like it without Alice.
Yeah.
This new girl was supposed to be the replacement Alice, but she's no good.
Yeah. I think I kept hearing Idris Elba saying there's going to be a film.
Yeah, because the film didn't happen, that happened.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm not sure Luther would work as a film, would it?
Luther isn't Luther without Alice. Luther doesn't work without Alice.
Yeah.
And it's not that I want to see them hook up, but I like the chemistry between them.
Yeah.
That's what makes it. That's what sells the story for me. If it wasn't for Alice in the first season, Luther would just be another detective drama.
Yeah. It's annoying her career's doing that well, isn't it? The person who plays Alice.
And the affair has gone to shit, so, just come back and do Luther, Ruth Wilson. Just come back and do it.
Yeah.
Come on, it's a public plea, Luther. I was going to call her Luther. Ruth Wilson. Just come back.
Yeah.
We need you.
Come back to our good British detective shows.
Yeah, but she didn't get a Golden Globe for Luther. She got a Golden Globe for The Affair. She's going to stay on The Affair.
Oh,
The Affair is really bad now.
The Americans corrupt the British actors so easily.
Well, yeah, they do pay more and there is more jobs there. So if I was an actor, I'd probably... Actually, I wouldn't be an actor. I'm brown. I mean, it's hard enough for black actors to get jobs. Could you imagine how hard it would be for me to get jobs?
Yeah.
I'd play the wife of a terrorist, for crying out loud. I'd be one of the people in 24 that gets killed really early.
You could become really good at that, though.
But I don't want to build a career around being a terrorist wife or part of a terrorist sect.
No.
Or you end up being... Actually, no, that only works for guys. I was going to say, or you end up being one of those dorky, smart Asians, but that's only male Asians.
Yeah.
In American television.
Yeah.
You don't see many female Asians. I mean, the only one I can think of is Mindy Kaling. And I think that's only because she writes her own shit. That's why she's successful.
Yeah.
Where are all the brown ladies?
And I think, to be honest, I think she's cast in The Office probably because...
Stereotypical.
If I'm being honest, I think that's probably why.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, she made that role her own. I'm not denying that, but I'm guessing that's probably why she was cast.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was.
I mean, because there wasn't any other Asians in that sitcom, was there?
No.
Not I can remember. No.
I haven't watched it much, but no, not that I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Asian ladies in American cinema. I'd have to go to Bollywood, but I can't speak Hindi, I can't speak Gujarati, I can't speak Bengali. I'm fucked.
They just end up singing and dancing in those films.
Yeah, I can't sing or dance. Actually, no, not all. That's a common misconception.
That's just all, my friend, he doesn't really watch Bollywood films, but that's all he tells me about them. They
A
sing and dance
high majority of them are musicals, but there's quite a few that aren't.
Yeah. I mean...
But even the ones that are musicals, they actually do have storylines.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can be sad. It doesn't feel like the Hollywood musical, where it's all cheesy.
Yeah. I've heard Bollywood's starting to get better, though, now.
And it's actually pretty good, I'd say. Bollywood films are... I mean, because they are more successful than Hollywood films anyway.
Yeah.
And there's more output than in Hollywood. So obviously they're going to have a higher amount of good films.
Yeah.
Because there was one that was out last year, I think, Deepan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I really want to watch.
But I know, like, the social kind of representations are getting better as well.
Maybe. I don't really watch Bollywood movies. I don't know why I'm defending
Well, there
it so
used to be,
much.
like, controversies about gay kisses and stuff like that.
There's controversies about any kisses.
Yeah.
Mate, we got to go.
Have we?
Well, yeah, because it's an hour and 49 minutes.
Yeah.
And you don't edit this, I do, and I'm going to kill you.
Okay.
All right, we need to go because Tamim is tired and hungry and she needs to be fed and watered every few hours.
Like a plant.
So, yeah, like a plant. What, a plants need feeding every few hours?
Yeah.
Is that why mine always die?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, okay. Is that why the fish died as well?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to say Springfield Three, sorry, but we didn't solve you. And
We didn't find
good
you.
day.
Yeah, good day.
We didn't find you.
Goodbye.
Good day, good evening, good night.
Yeah, exactly. What she said.
And Godspeed, London.
Yes.
And Godspeed, New York, after that white supremacist stabbed the black guy to death. Godspeed.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but seriously, bye.
Yeah, bye.